Hey everybody, and welcome back to Elements Reborn, Development Koi, the update series where we talk about the ongoing development of the game Elements Reborn, an Avatar The Last Airbender inspired fan game. I'm Flat Mars Theory, I'm your host, and it is good to have you back. Today, we're talking about the update. That's pretty clear. I mean, if you're here, you probably already knew that. If not, hey, well, cool. That means we're reaching people on YouTube, I guess. This is pretty cool. There's a lot of new information in this, a lot of history on the development of the game that we didn't really know before. So this update is going to be broken down into three main sections because that's what this document is broken down into, three main sections. We're kind of going to be talking about the history of the project up through now and why it's at the state that it's at now. Then we're going to be talking about what we're going to do going forward. We being Jay, our fearless leader. And then we're going to talk about the Discord a little bit and what's been going on in there. Most of you will probably be coming from there, so you'll have seen this already. And if you've already read the document that was posted in the Discord announcements, it's not going to get... The only new information you're going to get from this video is going to be my opinion, which doesn't really matter anyways. So if you're here for any new info, it's not really the place for you. But if you want to give us a like and a comment and subscribe. Click that bell so that when we do more of these, just share it, Send it to people that are into Avatar. If you think they'd be into the development of a game like this, send it to them. See if we can get more people on board. But we'll get there. We'll get there by the end of this update. I'm going to apologize now, too, because it's been a little while since I've done one of these. It's been... about 5 months since the last update, so I'm gonna be rusty. I'm probably gonna stutter a lot and fall over words and whatnot. It's a little bit of a different format for me too, and I know you probably don't care about this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Usually when I do these update videos, I would just get like a bullet point, a list of updates or notes, I guess, and then I would fill in the gaps of those bullet points with inferences and my own just guessing, but or explanations of those bullet points. I shouldn't say that I just totally made up all the, because that's not true, but you know what I'm trying to say. This one is different. This is a fully written out document, so I'm basically going to be reading it not word for word but pretty close, because that's the only way to do it. So here we go. I'm going to start with the history of the project. This is what Jay, our lead developer, has told us. And really, we're going to get into it. Let's do it. This project has been going on for about 2 to 3 years now, and it hasn't gotten too far. You may wonder why. Wouldn't we at least have some gameplay to show? We did, by the way. It was about a year ago now we had that pre-alpha, but we'll get to it. We'll get to that. This is very complicated, and we're going to try to explain this in detail. And now the history. Jay used to work with a developer who got him into game development, and he helped him work on the original version of this game. Later, they parted ways on not good terms, unfortunate, which led to the project being damaged because a lot of the coding that was done on that original version of this game, or original concept, I guess, was done by the other guy who isn't involved at all anymore. And Jay didn't really understand that guy's way of coding and blueprints on the Unreal Engine, so he had to restart basically from scratch. This was back at that point. There was a party system, a model, a test world, and even a small map. And then, nope, that guy's gone, so we're starting over. At that point, we get to the second version of the game, which we have seen. That is, if you look back through the YouTube channel, the old development update videos from about a year ago, maybe a little longer, there's also gameplay footage of this next version, which is version 2. At that point, he had gotten it back up to the same level. There's a model, a test map, and whatnot, and he started to take satellite blueprints. Oh, sorry, Jesus, I just butchered that whole thing. No, that first pre-alpha was what we got before. Then we started a second version because of the whole split, and at that point he was working on creating a new map, starting from scratch, gonna get us into a new location. That location was based on Russia or Ukraine. He says he doesn't remember, but it's vaguely in my memory that there was a geographic satellite image of, it was either Ukraine or Russia. And he was taking that image and transposing it into the game itself, creating textures, cleaning up the map, creating a village and systems, starting from scratch again, like we said. Later, because sometimes the world is unfair, his hard drive crashed, and that version was completely wiped. So version number 2, pre-alpha gameplay, all that stuff, was version 1. Version 2 was going to replace that. Gone into the ether, vanished. Woohoo! Merry Christmas, right? So this is devastating, of course, because that's just a terrible experience. Imagine putting years of effort into something and then having it just like that. Whoop, gone. Cool. I was totally done with that, right? So he says, obviously this is annoying for us, you guys, the fan base, the developers, everyone. It's annoying because you see all this progress and then, hey, we got to start over. And then you see progress again and, hey, we got to start over. And then, again, it's devastating for the people who actually put in the work on these things, because then you're putting in years of effort and it's just gone. So Jay says he promised he wouldn't quit, so he's still not going to quit. He's a very David Goggins type, just persistence. He just wanted everyone to get some perspective on what had happened and why things are happening the way they are. And that kind of brings us up to today. So that took a little bit. We're about 7.5 minutes in after editing. It's going to be probably a little less than that, but still, that's the history of this project and where we're at up to today. So let's move forward, looking at the future. From the 13th of July, 2020, we're starting fresh. This is because all that other... Starting fresh. This is it, guys. 2020. The year of coronavirus, Australian wildfires, global economic shutdown, and mass deaths. It's all turning around now, baby. We got Elements Reborn. It's all uphill from here. We've hit rock bottom officially. From the 13th of July, we're going to the stars. He's revamping the project, and hopefully this is our last attempt and nothing gets nuked. But before, Jay didn't have any help. All of it was himself after the split from the original guy. And now we've got animators and modelers that are very interested and able to help out with the project, which is awesome. Now, I've talked about this before, I think a couple times in the old videos, but since those are outdated, I'll say it again. Elements Reborn is a fan project, and it's a volunteer project. So imagine how hard it is already to get volunteer work on something as dense as game development, and then take that and say, okay, cool. So it's hard enough to get volunteers in game development, and now you're getting into a niche market. Even though Avatars is popular as it is, there's not going to be too many people who watched it and are so moved by it, or whatever you want to say, that they decide, hey, I'm going to help this guy develop this game for free. So now we got a couple people that are doing animation and modeling, which is very helpful. Kudos to you. Kudos to everyone who gets involved and helps this thing. for now, he's going to be using for now, meaning today on, he's using an old laptop to use the Unreal Engine on. He says it's got a higher chance of crashing, but he plans on backing up the game every 3 days, assuming that's an external hard drive or something. And I'm also assuming that's while he's waiting for his PC to get fixed, because he's mentioned that a few times in the Discord and to the staff that his computer's battery was destroyed, and then the motherboard also fried. So trying to get that fixed, but, expensive and slow. Yay. So now we're looking at the actual project and what the scope of what we want it to become is. He wants to create this world that's inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender with some of the elements from that story. Elements meaning not just the actual water, earth, fire, you know what I mean? Elements of the whole series. The world building, the captivating story, the bending of the elements, and on top of that, making it a inspired game instead of a straight up fan game is going to make freedom of storytelling, creative control, basically. If you aren't set in an already pre-existing universe with its own rules and limitations, you can take those rules and limitations of Avatar: The Last Airbender, set them as a foundation, but since you're not in that world, you can tweak those rules and limitations a little bit to make things whatever you want to make them, while still remaining true to the original in inspiration. So more freedom of storytelling, different kinds of sub-bending, more world building. You have better options of making a story your own and making it better if you aren't limited to a preset world. Yeah. So he wants to make the story captivating, just like the original series, and to some people, I guess, Korra too. But having a good story doesn't make a game good. What makes a game good is its gameplay. That's what he says. I'm going to add to that a little bit, because I personally think it's a mix of both. And he does say mostly. He says what makes a game good mostly is its gameplay, and I think that's true. But I really think you got to have pretty good story and pretty good gameplay. Otherwise, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. Beside the point. My opinion. I'm not paid for this crap. In these past years, I've done tons of polls. I meaning Jay, and questions about who wants to see what in the game. And he tries to listen to what you, the people in the Discord, want to see in the game, so that hopefully it shows up in the project if it can be. So we're going to start looking at 4 main parts of gameplay moving forward. I'll break it down into 4 big categories and then go into what he says about each one. We're looking at combat, traveling, world environment, and quests. That's what the game is going to be, other than the story, about. That is the game. Combat, traveling, environment, and quests. Now we're going to break it down a little bit, okay? We're going to break it down. Combat. He says combat is something he doesn't want to overuse, because you're not going to be running into enemies 24/7 on every part of the map, in every quest, and whatnot. So he wants to make combat fun, but not repetitive. He wants to experiment with a couple of ways he can make it fun and not repetitive, such as, this is just an idea, using a special, not my idea, this is from the document, using a special move, you have to press a certain sequence on your keyboard or controller to use it. He says to get a good example of this, he recommends to watch this YouTube video, which I will link in the description of this video if you've made it this far. Good for you. Appreciate it. I'm going to link this YouTube video, and he says it's at the 3-minute and 14-second time mark. And he says the combat itself will not look like what it looks like in the video, but the example is like inputting a certain command sequence onto your controller or keyboard. That's what you're looking at in this example, not what the gameplay combat's actually going to look like. Just putting it out there. Traveling. Because this is Avatar inspired, he wants to make traveling a big part of the gameplay and the story. For movement, he wants to give each element its own special movement ability, such as the air scooter. I imagine that is for sure. He says air scooter. My idea is, you look at Toph jumping on the season 2 finale, jumping into the ground, running across the earth, and you know what I mean? If you've seen the show, you know it. Bleh. To get around the world, you're going to have to actually manually walk to parts of the world. So along the way, there's going to be villages, quests, and other things to do to keep you interested. When you get to your destination, you'll be able to find a fast travel point, so you don't have to travel back and forth every time to get to a place. You'll also be able to obtain mounts to travel faster through the air or underground. Badger moles, anybody? Secret tunnel. I think I'm going to put in the little guitar clip that I recorded like 2 years ago. So that's what we're getting about traveling. It's going to focus a lot on the story will focus a lot on traveling, which is cool. That really does draw from Avatar. World environment. The world environment plans to be interactive. By that, he means you'll be able to use certain abilities of combat to open or break things, to go to new areas on the map. There will also be small puzzles along the way. Each kingdom will feel different than the other and have its own culture. Again, this is pretty much looking right at Avatar, saying, hey, we're going to take that, throw it into a game. And a lot of other games do that too, which is good. That gives you a inspiration from not Avatar, but just the gameplay side of things. It gives you something else to work off of. How does this guy do it? How does that guy do it? You know what I mean? Blech, I'm talking a lot. Quests. The questing will revolve around the world traveling and telling the main storyline. In these quests, you'll be traveling around the world, learning about the world, and friendships with a cast of characters. There will be a main quest, there will be subquests, and there will be mini quests. Main quests are going to be entire story arcs that revolve around your friendships and the destruction of Benders, he says. Little Freudian slip there, Jay. I don't think you were planning on telling us about the destruction of Benders and how that's part of the story, but we'll move on. Subquests are going to be less significant story quests that are smaller than the main quests. And a mini quest is basically just a quest where you're going to do a mini game of some kind. It's going to be, his examples are penguin sliding, avoiding boulders, winning a tournament, stuff like that. It's pretty standard RPG stuff, really. Main quest, subquest. If you've played RPGs before, you've seen this formula. It's tried and true. I mean, it works, People do it all the time. Make it work real good. There's no real estimated time frame that you would finish all of the quests. This is because he doesn't know how long it's going to take for one arc to be transferred into gameplay. Meaning, you write out a chapter of a story, and then you take that chapter of a story and put it into a game setting. You don't know how long it's going to take people to get to the end of that chapter. And he also says because after releasing the game, he'd like to keep patching in new content so that you don't get bored after finishing it all. And that's where we're at so far for gameplay. Again, we're like 18 minutes into this. I know this is really long. If you're still here, I love you. You're great. Say something in the Discord. I got an idea. Just came to me. If you have listened to this video all the way up to this point, in the Discord server, in the general chat, send the message. I don't know what to say. Secret Tunnel. Using the promo code Secret Tunnel will get you a shout out in the next development series update. I don't know. If you made it this far, say something. Say Secret Tunnel, and I'll think of something to do. It won't be anything of real value, but it'll be kind of cool to see who's actually listening and who's not. It's going to be a pretty small list of people. So now we're talking about the Discord, the final part of this update video. He says, and we've hit 166 members on the Discord, which is huge. And it's also fake news because we don't actually have 166 members on the Discord. We have 165, Jay. So if you could stop inflating your own ego, that would be great. 165 is reasonable. 166 is too much. And it's kind of disgusting how you've, just bloated your own ego by adding that one extra person. No, I'm just kidding. This is awesome. 165 people on a Discord server for a project that really we haven't been able to give much since last year with the whole pre-alpha that doesn't exist anymore. So that's awesome. We love seeing you guys. Even if you're not talking, it's still great that you're there keeping up to date. There's a pretty good little amount of people. Even today, I'll do some shout outs really quick because why not? We got people like the Crunchy Bacon, which, by the way, I don't like my bacon too crunchy. That's a story for another podcast. Paloofy. Or Paloofa, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce half this stuff. Stufu, like STFU, but actually saying it out. Cool, Stufu. Avatar Auric, our new moderator. Congratulations. Melissa, and I think there was one more. I'm not seeing one more. Maybe I was wrong. Nomad is still here, and he's a new moderator too. No, here it is. HQY. So, thank you for being involved and actually saying stuff on the Discord, guys. We love it when you get involved, even if it's just for a quick little like, hey, guys, is the game dead yet? And then we can say, no, we've been on life support a few times, but we're not dead yet. It's good to see you guys. That's a big deal. I mean, 165 people, that's awesome. So if you all donate $5 to our Patreon, no, I'm kidding. If you're wondering, we are still looking for help on the project. So if you want to get involved, send Jay a direct message, slide into his DMs, right? We need about anything gamer story related. So if you're an artist or a writer, like a written artist, I think we might be good on artist, actual drawn, but even if you are a drawing artist, get a hold of Jay. I'm sure there's room. But writing, we need story ideas, because you're looking at writing a main overarching story is enough, right? That's a lot of information. Then you got to add side quests and mini quests and stuff like that. So if you have ideas for stuff that you would like to see a quest made out of or whatever, send it to him. The worst thing that can happen is you say, maybe not. But no, do it. Get involved. It would be so cool, right? To like write something and then you get to see it and part of it, like it's in the game by the time it's done. It would be cool. So do it. Jay says he's been rewatching Avatar. Oh, before I go on, this is because that's moving on from the Discord. Thank you all for being a part of it. All 165 of you. Even though most of you aren't going to be super involved, it doesn't matter. Just the fact that you're here, you're interested enough to come to a Discord server to see what's up. That's cool. That's good for you guys, really. And if you are interested, speak up, say something, get involved. We're all mostly friendly, I think. Just, say something. Say hello. Do it. Moving on. Jay has been rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender again and The Legend of Korra to get some inspiration and to see how things are done even more. He's also says, this is kind of cool. He's replayed every single official Avatar game that's been released to see what their developers tried to do and maybe add some of the really good parts of those projects in. If you've played the Avatar games before, I haven't personally because I looked into them and like all the reviews said, this kind of sucks. So why would I spend my money on that? But I'm sure there are parts of that, just like mostly anything, there are usually at least parts of something that are good. The only real exception I can think of to that is, there's this movie that came out in like 2012, I think. It was called The Last Airbender, and it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie. It's based on this, it's like a cartoon for kids, for little babies called Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the movie was, unsavable, absolutely disgusting, vile, shockingly evil. Don't watch it. in about 2 to 3 months. Now here, I know if you're still with me, 25 minutes in almost, God, you are dedicated, and I happy about that. Whew, you are dedicated. That's awesome. Again, secret tunnel, code word, use it. Then I'll know. He says in at least 2 to 3 months, there's gonna be gameplay revealed in a video and screenshot format. I imagine I'll probably do something like I did before. Get some gameplay footage. Yeah, baby. In about a month or two, there's going to be some concept art also released in the Discord. And from now on, each week, we're going to have a poll about things that should be added into the game or shouldn't be added into the game. That's what we're going to do the poll for. We're going to find out. There's also a new Twitter account that he's going to try to post on daily about the game and other off-topic things. He doesn't give the Twitter handle, so I can't really shout that out. But there's a social media tab, so it'll be posted there, I'm sure. And the release date, the big date here. Get your ear holes open. Get ready to hear this. Expect a beta in the year 2021. That's next year. Expect a beta. Yeah. Again, game development. It's a slow process. Even slower when it's volunteer work and you have this small of a crew. So that's the best you can probably hope for. 2021 is the beta. He's done some pre-alphas, but he's not sure if he's going to do that again. Maybe an alpha version so that there's some progress you can see and really play. But for now, 2021, we're looking at a beta. I know it sounds like it's a long way away, but think about this for a second. Think about this. 2020 has gone by so fast because of the coronavirus. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I could have sworn it was like February, but here we are. It's like July 13th, and just keep that in mind. It sounds like it's a long ways out, and in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. It'll be here before you know it. One last little thing he wanted to add. He saw some people interested in the Dreams Avatar game for the PlayStation 4, which is an exclusive, and he says it's really great. He's played it. So if you can get a hold of it, if you have a PS4, check it out. Apparently it's worth it. There's not going to be a PC version of that game because unless Dreams itself comes to the PlayStation, to the PC, because Dreams is a PS4 exclusive. He did say, though, that he had a talk with the creator of Dreams, but doesn't really say what he talked about other than porting the game to PC. But, I mean, I'm sure they talked about other stuff, too. Anyway, that's it, guys. Holy crap. 30 minutes almost of me talking and you listening for about 45 seconds before you say, oh man, this sucks, and then turning it off and going and reading the document for yourself. Appreciate all of you, everyone involved in the Discord, and everyone that's here along for the ride with us. I know it's been a while. Hopefully it won't be as long before the next update. I love doing these things, even if it's not a ton of information. It's just a fun hobby, and we hope that you get involved, stay involved, and we'll catch you down the road. Flamey-o, Hotman. Yeah.